Hello, today I'll give you a short review of HUSA Cayo Santa Maria. I'll try to be as objective as possible. Keep in mind, this is strictly my opinion, and you might have a different experience. I will go through the good things and the bad things, and I'll try to keep this one really short. So, just like Playa Cayo Santa Maria, which I reviewed recently, the HUSA Cayo Santa Maria is located on the tiny island of Cayo Santa Maria, which is just off the northern coast of Cuba. You can find more detailed information about your flight and consequent trip to the resort if you check the first part of the above-mentioned review. You can click the link that appears on your screen right now, and it will take you directly to the section which describes the location, the airport, and the consequent not so short shuttle bus ride to the hotel. Keep in mind that both resorts are located in immediate proximity. Having provided you with this reference, I will now skip ahead and move to our first impressions of this resort. HUSA Cayo Santa Maria is not a new hotel, and this comes with its pros and cons. I have previously mentioned that in my opinion, Cubans are good in building new resorts, but not so good in maintaining them as they age. The lobby is spacious and nicely designed. It is surrounded by pools of water, bordered by the really beautiful gardens of the resort. You can definitely find a nice spot to sit there, enjoy the pretty view, and simply relax. The staff is nice and helpful. They all seemed courteous and kind. Let's now say a few words about the buildings and the rooms. The residential buildings are designed in a nice colonial style. Rooms are spacious and clean, and each balcony delivers a pleasant view to the lush gardens. This being said, in some aspects, you can see that the rooms are a bit dated. The old, bulky CRT TV sets, for example, could be replaced with newer LCDs. We were not impressed with the baths either. They looked kinda small and dark. I mentioned several times the gardens, and this is probably the best feature of HUSA Cayo Santa Maria. The resort is full of mature, lush, tropical vegetation. An abundance of palm trees and tropical flowers will leave you with the nice feeling that you're indeed at an exotic location. The swimming pools are nicely designed. They're all curvy and round, and having a bridge that crosses over them is a nice touch as well. The poolside bar is more or less adequately stocked. However, the long chairs were in a desperate need of replacement, or at least a very deep cleaning. The canvas on the latter was once blue, but at the time we visited, they had accumulated enough sweat, oil, and dead skin cells from the butts of tourists that their original color was long lost, and now they had dirty brownish spots where thighs and glutae of hundreds or thousands of visitors rubbed against them. This was a major hygienic and aesthetic issue, and it had to be addressed immediately. Now let's move to the beach. The beach at HUSA Cayo Santa Maria is very nice. Cayo Santa Maria itself has some of the best beaches in Cuba, so all the nice things I said about them in my Playa Cayo Santa Maria review apply here as well. Once again though, you should be mindful of two things. One, the sandbank is not very wide. And two, which is more important, be prepared for some competition for spots in the shades. These might be of a short supply, so if you don't mind the extra weight, pack yourself a compact beach tent, as this could save your vacation. The main buffet restaurant is not that large, but for most of the time it could adequately accommodate all the guests. The tables did not usually have tablecloths on, but maybe this is a good idea. as having white tablecloths requires changing them after each client, something that's not regularly done in Cuban resorts. So in this case, at least you will not get to eat on a stained tablecloth, in case of course you're not among the first batch of customers for each meal. We found that the choice of food was limited. The buffet was itself not very big, and the variety of meals was definitely not its strongest quality. HUSA Cayo Santa Maria has a decent kids club. There is a small indoors area and a relatively large playground, once again surrounded by the beautiful vegetation of the hotel. So in conclusion, HUSA Cayo Santa Maria is a choice that comes with a lot of pros and cons. On the good side, it features nice beaches, nice lobby area and okay rooms, plus it's cheap. But on the bad side, it is a bit dated, it's a bit worn. I mentioned the long chairs, but also the tennis courts looked a bit in despair, which could have been okay if they were in the periphery of the resort, but they are actually right next to the main pool. And it also has a limited choice of food, at least when it comes to the main buffet. Would I recommend this resort to a friend? Well, it's not an easy question, but to answer shortly, despite of the good things I mentioned, HUSA Cayo Santa Maria would definitely not be among my first choices of resorts on Cayo Santa Maria, or in Cuba for that matter. Would I recommend it? Until the resort does not engage in an adequate facelift effort, I can only say that should you decide to visit HUSA Cayo Santa Maria, you better get a very good price, as this, to me at least, seems like the best feature of the resort. To be fair, I have to say that the resort recently changed name to Starfish Cayo Santa Maria. I do not know if this was associated with the transfer of ownership or simply dropping out of the HUSA chain, but I do hope things have changed for the better.